there's nothing like cracking that cellophane, pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hi, everyone. This is Todd La Torre from Queensrÿche, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews, and today it's an honor and a huge privilege to have Mr. Todd La Torre. He's the vocalist of Queensrÿche, but today Todd has released his debut solo album entitled Rejoice in the Suffering via Rat Pak Records. Also check out the videos for Vanguards of the Dawn Wall and Darkened Majesty. I want to say Vanguards of the Damn Wall. I see that. I want to say that. But anyway, Todd, man, how you doing? And what's been going on with you during all this crazy pandemic, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm here in St. Petersburg, Florida. The weather is beautiful. It's got to be in the upper 60s, clear blue skies. The record came out today. So, we're not touring or anything, and that's obviously a bummer. But there's a lot of good music coming out from a lot of people, and I'm thankful to be one of those people, and no complaints really.
I think this pandemic too, there's a good side and a bad side of this, if that makes sense to people, because you've got a lot of musicians who are hammering stuff out, and I've talked to many who said they've got enough for 2 or 3 albums. So I'm thinking maybe old school double discs are going to come out, hopefully.
Yeah, wow, I haven't even thought of a double disc in a long time. That's funny that you said that, because, you hear like double vinyl, everybody does the double vinyls because they got to fit more, they need more records to fit the songs. But yeah, the double CD, those were the shit. I miss those. I think a lot of people, you're absolutely right. Bands that are touring all the time, they don't have the time to buckle down and focus just on writing music all the time because you're always traveling. So there is, if you can try to find a positive aspect of at least the downtime, that's certainly one of them is just being able to really churn out some good music and dive your head into it without the interruptions.
The last double disc that I saw come out was a couple of years ago, and that was from Seven Dust's very own John Conley. He came out with one for his side project.
Gotcha.
And I was like, man,
yeah.
I was like, man, that's a long damn time since I've ever heard of a double disc to come out. So yeah,
I know. I know. I haven't thought about that since you said that. I remember I had a Fates Warning, a double disc, and yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Was this solo album something you've been planning on doing, or was it just because of the pandemic? Was it something on your mind for a while that you wanted to do this?
It's something that I've talked about for years about wanting to do. And again, just to briefly reiterate what I said before, normally we're on the road touring all the time. And so when you come home for a few days, sometimes the last thing you want to do is work on music. You just want to spend time with your family, do things around the house, let your ears decompress, clear your mind from all of that. And so, the shutdown just expedited the whole process and situation and allowed me to get into the mindset that I needed to be in to just focus every single day on these songs. And so that's what we did. And it came out great. We're really happy with it. And, we did it in about 4 months. We wrote and recorded everything in like 4 months. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, it's been years and we did all that in 4 months. What was I doing before? But everything happens for a reason. And the timing was really perfect, to be honest. The timing, I'm glad that it didn't come out a year or two ago. Like, this is the perfect time. For me, it was the perfect time.
Now, were these songs that you had stashed back away, or are these all brand new stuff from you?
One song, the title track, Rejoice in the Suffering, that's a song that Craig and I had about 6 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. And that was the only completed song. And then we had a couple snippets of a couple other songs, but nothing was really completed or anything. So really, generally speaking, everything was brand new. You know, starting in mid-March is when we really buckled down and started crafting things from scratch. So we only really had one completed song.
Were you a little nervous at all releasing this album during this pandemic, or no, or was you comfortable with it?
No, I'm not nervous at all. It's not contingent on me touring on it. So a lot of bands, you know, they don't want to record a record and then release it when touring isn't happening, because that's what you want to do, is tour on the new record, sell merchandise about the new record, etc. I just did it for the love of the music and for the fun of it. And so there was no nervousness about it at all.
Now, I know when this all opens back up, and I hope sooner than later, are you going to tour on this, or are you going to wait and see what the Queensrÿche guys are going to do, or what's your plans possibly?
Well, Queensrÿche will always take precedence. That's always number one. That's the big business, and that's most important. And if there's areas of time where Queensrÿche doesn't have anything booked, and there's an opportunity to play a show or a few shows or something, then I would like to place these songs live. I would definitely have fun doing it, and I think that the material would be fun to play live. But as far as like me just doing a full-blown tour on my stuff, that's not something that I'm planning on or even have in my vision right now. It's just Queensrÿche will be number one, and if I can do some shows on my own stuff, if time allows, then I would look at that.
Looking back at this, what's impressed or excited you the most about making this debut solo album, if anything, Todd? What sticks out the most for you personally?
Being able to show the diversity that I have, because most people that know who I am only know pretty much my voice singing Queensrÿche, where it's very clean, and it's a totally different animal. That the music writing and style is very different from what I've done on this record. And I think just being able to highlight a variety of different types of metal in this record and showing just the different textures and things I can do with my voice and drumming too, you know. So I think that's probably the most rewarding, is just sharing with everybody a whole nother side of my musical abilities that they wouldn't hear otherwise.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question, because you talked about diversity in this, but you also had enjoyment in playing drums. You actually said you loved playing the drums on this.
Well, I'm a drummer first, and I played on the last Queensrÿche album also, on The Verdict, played drums on that. So people did get to hear that. But I just love all aspects of the songwriting, whether it's guitar, drums, vocals, keyboard stuff. So Craig Blackwell and I did all of it together. And it's just something we like to do. It was really done just for the love and the fun of songwriting and doing some really fun metal songs that we miss hearing and that we enjoy listening to.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on this album? I know these change every time you listen to it, and I know these are your babies. But are there any that stand out for you?
I like them all. I would say, you know, standout tracks for me, Crossroads to Insanity is a really great one, because it's a different change of pace on the record. Apology as well. Hellbound and Down, and then maybe One by One. I don't know. I like them all, but standout ones. And Vexed, you know, Vexed is a really cool, fun one. So it's I can't pin down a favorite, but there's, you know, a few top ones that I probably enjoy listening to more a little bit now, and that does change as I've listened to the album so many times.
Now, I know you said you teamed up with longtime friend and collaborator Craig Blackwell, and alongside producer Chris Zeus Harris, which me and Zeus has done an amazing job on some amazing records. But how's working with these guys, man? Is it just kind of you feed off each other and you just gel? They know exactly what you're wanting?
Well, Craig and I have been playing together since, you know, our early teens. and we just understand, we like the same things. So when he plays a riff, I'm always like, oh, that's badass. Or I'll have an idea, or I'll mouth an idea. Hey, I'm feeling this, play this. And I'll do it with my mouth, and he'll just play it exactly like I mouthed it. Or if I grab the guitar and show him the idea, he'll grab it and play it, 1,000 times better the first time. and then Zeus, he did the mixing and the mastering on the record. So he didn't produce this record. Craig and I self-produced it, but he came in and he did have some really good ideas, though, like on Rejoice in the Suffering, during the chorus, there's an answer, call and answer thing. The drown in your bottle of sin. He decided to put a different effect, vocal effect or EQ on there to give a little bit of separation between the two parts. So he did a lot of cool little goodies, ear candy stuff, putting some delays where we want them. And, he's one of my best friends too. And so working with him is just really, really easy. It's very easy. So we're able to communicate really well. If he doesn't like something, there's no hard feelings in how he communicates that to me, or vice versa. So it was a really fun thing to do. It wasn't like this pain in the ass thing to make. It was just a lot of fun. It was really just a lot of fun.
Who did the artwork for this amazing album? Because the artwork looks pretty cool on it, man, to be honest with you.
Thank you. So there's actually 3 artists that are involved in the cover that you see. Number one, the TLT logo was created by a guy named Eric Lorman. He's a graphic artist designer. He works for a company that builds apps. So like all the big sports teams, when you go to that sports team's website and you flip through the roster, or you go to the big arena and you want to park and he creates the apps. So he's a very brilliant guy in his own right. And he's great with layout and design and fonts. And so we had a lot of meetings over how we wanted the TLT to be. Then I have a friend named Kaz, who's a great illustrator, and he did the Ouroboros that you see, pencil drawn. That's all done in pencil. And I have the original drawing here at my place. And so he drew that with all the texture in it and all the detail. And then we have another artist in Brazil named Gene, who does a ton of album covers for people, and the label works with him a lot. And so he incorporated the TLT logo that Eric created, the Ouroboros that Kaz drew, and then he did the cracks in the Ouroboros and the blood splatter and the fire and the shading on the logo and kind of the where it's glowing red like fire. So he blended all of those together to make it one cohesive piece of art. So it's not just one person, but 3 people that should be credited for that. And my wife is the one that came up with the Ouroboros concept for the album. So I credit her for having that. And I remember saying I wanted a white album cover with this artwork in the center. And I just love it because when you see all of these album covers and they're very dark and they kind of, they just kind of blend into each other. And when you see my thumbnail in the midst of all of the other albums, whether you like the cover or not, your eyes are drawn to that cover. And it's a very clean, bold, concise logo. It's not too busy. It's got some attitude and edge. There's my logo, the TLT, my initials inside of it, and it just translates really well. So I'm really glad that you like the artwork. We did work hard on that to get everything out of it that we wanted. The detail, but still not overdone with all this hidden stuff and all this dark colors where you can't really make out what it is. You can identify that immediately now.
Yeah, and I like how you said it. I agree with you 1,000%. I can see what the freaking cover looks like. I don't have to squint my eyes and stuff.
Right.
It's there. It's clean. It's good.
Yeah, totally. And there's great album covers out there,
Sure.
but they're all just, and it's very common. I like dark album covers, don't get me wrong, but there's so much, it's like black and everything's dark, and there'll be fire and glowing blue, and and then you see my cover and it's just like bam.
Yeah.
So if you saw that up at a merch booth with all these shirts, your eye just goes to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very cognizant of the design, the layout, and the marketing ability of having this logo, this brand that's very simple, and you can see it from a mile away. And once you know what that logo is, you'll see that logo. It's like the AC/DC font. If you see that font from far away, you know that it's it, or Iron Maiden or Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
You see the M and the A long. You don't have to read it. You know what it is because it's very simple and clean and identifiable.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to this solo album or any of your music in general, man?
That I'm a versatile vocalist, that we put out an album that, in my opinion, doesn't really sound like anything else that's coming out. A lot of music out there, but there's a lot of power metal. There's a lot of symphonic stuff. There's a lot of heavy stuff with just a lot of screaming like the whole time. And it just gets boring to me. It's constant, and this has that diversity. So I would like people to walk away going, wow, this guy can do many things, and he's not just a one-trick pony or a boring songwriter. Craig and I, we did put a lot into this. But again, we just wrote stuff that we liked and we missed hearing from when we were growing up. This was like going back to our roots. And I hope that people feel that it reminds them of a time in metal that they don't hear anymore, but still has a modern flair to it.
Now, you never sang for a band until you joined Crimson Glory. You did perform a few times singing and playing your guitar on your original stuff and things like that. So looking back at that time, man, and you had short hair during that time. And I mean, a lot of people, oh, you're not a rocker, you're not this. Well, it doesn't matter what looks are. Trust me. We know better than that.
Right.
At least you should. What would you go back and tell a young Todd La Torre during that time?
That's a good question. Because I didn't really get discovered or quote make it until my 30s. And I had long hair all through high school. And then actually when you saw those pictures I know you're talking about, I cut my hair for about 4 years. I just got tired of it. And I was just like, I'm cutting it all off. I'm sick of it. I was cutting the grass and it was just a mess, and it was in my face and I'm sweating, and I was like, I'm done. And I just pushed the mower aside, took a shower, and went right to the hair salon. I said, shave my head. They're like, what? I go, cut it all off. They're like, you want to go shoulder length? I said, no, get the clippers out and buzz it. Like, I don't care what you do. Just get rid of it. I'm over it. And so, I cut it and had it short for about 4 years. And then I was like, I would be listening in the car and kind of headbanging. And I'm like, I miss my hair. Like, I want to grow it out again. So, but I don't know that I would say anything. I was always true to myself and honest with the reality of making it in music can mean so many things. I have friends that play locally in cover bands, and in my opinion, they've been doing it for 25 years. That's all they do. And some of my friends earn a really good living. I have friends that do the local beach bar scene and all that. They make more money individually doing that a year than some touring bands take home. And they do really well. And I think just being honest and true to yourself and having realistic expectations and just always think about the music first. Don't think about the notoriety. Don't think about the fame. Don't think about ego and all of that stuff. Just be true, be a good person, be respectful, be humble, and realize that what goes up must come down, and you think you're the shit and you think you're on top of, at some point something else comes along and you get bumped down a little bit and you get bumped down a little bit. And just always treat each person as if they're the top outlet interviewer. I know some people are like, oh, I'm not messing with that guy. Like I'm above him now. Say, well, you don't want to do that, because when people don't give a shit anymore, you're going to be reaching out to that smaller guy going, hey, remember when you interviewed me 15 years ago when I was just starting out? Yeah. You want to do an interview? And they say, no, you blew me off for the last 13 years. No, I'm not interested. So I always am thankful for people that give a shit to want to talk to me about any of this stuff. Because I just see myself as anybody else. I'm just on the stage. That's the only difference. I'm just like they are in the audience. I'm a fan too. And so that would be my advice back to myself. Be who you are. Don't have unrealistic expectations. Put your best foot forward and keep writing music. And whatever happens, happens. Don't feel like a failure because the world doesn't know who you are, or you don't have enough record sales, or you're not in the top 10 of anything. Mm-hmm. That to me, it's nice. It's a little feather in your hat, but it certainly shouldn't define your talent or who you are as a person.
Were there any tracks that didn't make this solo album that we could see possibly on another one from you, maybe?
Well, I've got a few other songs written for like a second record, and it was more in the melodic death, black metal style. This one was a little softer, but Craig loved it. It was a song I wrote, and the label really liked it. But I said, nah, in the context of this style of record, compared with this one song, it really is kind of a fish out of water, like One by One. But I really wanted One by One to be on the album, even as a bonus track. So there is one song that we thought about putting on, and I explained why I don't think it should, and everyone agreed. And so that didn't make it. But other than that, like everything that's on the record, including the bonus tracks, were intended for this record. So in that respect, there's nothing really left off.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Todd La Torre's debut solo album entitled Rejoice in the Suffering via Rat Pak Records. It's out today, February the 5th. So get out and pick that up. You can get it at toddlatorre.com. Also, you can get it at ratpakrecords.com. And please keep up with Todd. He's all over the socials. So, Todd, man, as always, thank you for your music with Queensrÿche and this solo album. I think you're an awesome vocalist, and I think you knock it out of the ballpark for what you do. So, as a fan, first and foremost, thank you, sir.
You're very kind. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the kind words and the support, and your interest to talk to me and get the word out about the record too, and hopefully we'll see you on the road when we get this pandemic thing under control. And if we're in the area, where are you located?
I'm in Eastern Kentucky.
Okay. Well, if we're ever in your neck of the woods, you've got the contacts of how to get a hold of me. All right, cool.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Todd La Torre from Queensrÿche, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Get out and pick up Todd La Torre's debut solo album entitled Rejoice in the Suffering via Rat Pak Records. You will not be disappointed, and again, Todd has knocked us out of the ballpark, so I wish you nothing but the best of luck as always, and hopefully you guys can get back on touring very, very soon than later.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Again, much appreciated. Have an awesome day and be safe out there.
You too, my friend.
listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.